following presentation is part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network.
Who would have thought a year later I am part of a network, and I am chatting tonight with the gals from GALactic Podcast. All this and more on Postcards from the Galaxy's Edge. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Postcards from the Galaxy's Edge, and I am now part of the Beyond the Blast Doors network, so please make sure to check out some of the amazing shows that are on beyondtheblastdoors.com. Literally a show for everyone. We have shows like Beyond the Blast Doors, which is kind of the only live weekly Star Wars show every Thursday, streaming Star Wars for live Disney Plus related Star Wars conversations is every Friday night. Around the Galaxy, it's like a fan-based kind of talk show. The Baughman cast is definitely kind of your fanboy positive energy with a wide range of Star Wars topics. The Holo Chronicles, which is all things Star Wars collectibles, they're actually my previous episode, so you can definitely check that previous episode out and their channel. And of course, I am Postcards from the Galaxy's Edge, and I'm really excited to have the gals from GALactic Podcast. We have Andrea and Lauren with us tonight. How are you, ladies?
Hello. Great. Yeah, we're doing good. How are you, Shannon?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm really excited to have some more ladies on the podcast because at the moment the only person I've had is Lacey Gillerin, so it's nice to, I don't try to deviate, gender doesn't usually matter or identification, but it is kind of nice to have fellow lady podcasters on things. So
well, we really appreciate you having us on. We're looking forward to this.
Yeah. So how are you doing? I know today I'll try to keep it positive, but I know we're all kind of in quarantine and things. How are you guys getting on? Doing okay? Where do you guys live, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, we're both from the Detroit area, Michigan. So we're both essential workers, so we've been going to work every day.
Oh, I get you. Oh, well, thank you for everything you've been doing. Because, I know my better half is a nurse and things, so but I think sometimes people forget there are other people as well, like drivers, food workers, everything. So thank you. I very much appreciate you guys being on the front lines for everything, and hopefully you're able to stay safe and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. So let's kind of first-time listeners and everything, but where's kind of your voice in the Star Wars fandom? Like, how did you start your podcast? Tell us a little bit about like your podcast and things.
Oh wow. So Andrea and I are cousins, so we've always been
fam.
We fam. We are.
Oh,
fam.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we're fam. So we've been fans since we were kids. We kind of both grew up watching Star Wars on VHS, which is, Andrea just said that the other day, and I kind of just never thought of it that way, but we kind of grew up watching the original trilogy on our VHS tapes. And Andrea was a cool one because she had all the cool toys. Like, she had the Darth Vader, like this Darth Vader helmet that had all like the different action figures and everything. So I remember like going to her house, playing with all that stuff. Yeah, and then I think we were just, we grew up just original trilogy watching VHS, and then, the prequels came out, watched those in theater, so that was kind of like my first like Star Wars theater experience that way. And then we've always like just talked about Star Wars all the time, like when we were at family events, like random family events. So a couple years ago, my brother, we were talking about, I think it was The Force Awakens or something like that. I think it was around that time that it just came out. And my brother told both of us, he's like, you guys should just start a podcast. He's like, you guys talk about it all the time. Just like start it. And we were like, who would listen to us? We were like, no one's going to listen to us. So then like a year or so later, Andrea, we were like, let's do it.
Yeah, he pressed it almost every time we were together. We would be at the kitchen table, he would be off to the side, and we would just be going back and forth, and he'd chime in every once in a while. This is it. This is the podcast. This is what you guys should do. And we're like, yeah, no one will listen to us. Sorry. But we're really passionate when we talk about it, and people can see it from the outside. So we're great that he recognized that and recommended us to do this.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I confess, I think I've not even had my podcast about a year. So you guys have had yours about, 2 years now?
No, so we actually literally just started in August of last year. So we're coming up. Yeah, we're coming up on a year. But yeah, we talked about it for like a good year though. Like we're like, man, should we do it? Should we not do it? And then we were just like, yeah, let's just do it. And we just did it. And I think both of us, I mean, I think I can speak for both of us, Andrea, that we both kind of thought like our family would be the only ones watching or like listening to us. We were like, no one else is going to listen to us. And it's crazy how like so much support like you and just a bunch of other podcasts have given us. And we've been on a couple other different shows too. So it's been really amazing. Like this is kind of my first interaction with like the podcast community. So it's really amazing to see how like supportive everybody is of one another and their content. So it's really cool. Really, really cool.
Yeah, I would agree with that because like when I started mine, I just was like, mine actually was more of a kind of physical therapy because I had an injury to my face and I had a bit of a lisp and I was like, well, I'm going to have to just get over it and start listening to myself. So, and being like an editor at things, and of course I'm very passionate about Star Wars and things, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to teach myself. But I was the same way. I was like, I don't know if anyone's going to listen, but that's okay. I'm just going to do it for me. And if people like it, great. But then I found I actually liked kind of collaborating with other podcasters because they're going to have different views and different passions and things. And it's more exciting to talk about things when you have different opinions. It's like, yeah, oh, I didn't think about that and things. So no, that's really cool. Really cool. So I'm glad. And you guys actually participated, and it is happening, I promise, in a project called The Moment Star Wars Spoke to Me, and so I'm very grateful for you guys participating in that, and again, hopefully that's going to be finally premiering at the end of this month kind of thing, obviously with coronavirus and day jobs and just life. Right. Last month was just like every day just kind of changed. Like, oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, it definitely changed a lot for sure.
Yeah, so I'm glad to see you both look really well, and I just kind of check in on everybody, kind of going, you doing okay? You need anything? I mean, I know I can't do a lot from England, but it's like, yeah, at least can enjoy Star Wars together.
Exactly.
So that being said, if you guys are a first-time listener to the podcast, this is Postcards from the Galaxy's Edge, and what happens is every broadcast is from a canon planet or moon in the Star Wars universe. And where are we going today, ladies?
I believe we're going to Ajan Kloss.
Yes, that is exactly where we're going. So I'm going to hand it over to Jerry, who's our canon junkie, who's going to tell us a little bit about the planet.
Thanks, Shannon. Pack your mosquito nets and binge watch Tiger King because we're off to the gorgeous jungle moon of Ajan Kloss. Originally scouted as a potential site for the Rebel Alliance base at the behest of General Leia Organa, Ajan Kloss served as a secluded outpost after the Battle of Endor, becoming a training ground for the young Jedi Luke Skywalker, and maybe a young Leia Organa, who was also training in the Force. Did you remember that scene from Rise of Skywalker where they had the lightsabers in the jungle? That was cool. Years later, it serves a similar function as home of the Resistance fighters and a place for Rey to continue her training. Ajan Kloss has made canon appearances in the Rise of Skywalker film, Novelisation, Junior Novelisation, and Battlefront 2. Just give in and play it, guys. It's awesome. Come on. Play some Battlefront 2. Shannon, back to you.
Thanks for that, Jerry. So, ladies, why did we pick this planet?
I thought about this planet just based off of reading the Rise of Skywalker book. I'm not through it yet, but partially. And watching the behind-the-scenes documentary and finding out that this was a place where Luke trained Leia, and that Luke called it New Dagobah or Better Dagobah, one of those
Something
two.
Like that, yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to get a little bit more familiar with it.
Yeah, I like this. It was a very cool planet from the Rise of Skywalker, and kind of like what Andrea said. I'm into that part of the book where he mentions that the whole old Dagobah and just kind of the significance of it too. Of this is where Leia trained. Luke trained Leia. I think it was a no-brainer for us. I think we had to go with it.
Nice. What did you guys think the first time you saw that was Luke and Leia training as young? I mean, I guess maybe they're going to be in their 30s, but you know what I mean. They're young, training as Jedis. What did you think the first time you saw that in the cinema?
I wanted more. I wanted to see more of it. I wanted to see force pushes and more conversation between them. And you get a little bit of that in the Rise of Skywalker novel. But I thought that was, I never thought it was something we would ever see. So to see a little bit of it, it definitely, made my heart warm up.
Yeah, that was just, you just seeing those two train, it was just like, oh God, I didn't know I wanted it until I saw that. And then I was like, okay, I need more of it. Like, I want everything. I want the whole backstory. I want what was going on, and like Andrea said, you kind of get a little of that in the novelization, but I want more. Like, I want to see Leia kicking Luke's butt training. Like, I could watch that all day. It'd be so cool.
It's funny that you say that, Lauren, because I had heard about it. I didn't really follow those leaks. Luckily, I avoided the leaks that came out like in August before the movie release. But there was one like YouTube channel that I don't really watch anymore, but was talking about, there's going to be a sequence of young Luke and Leia training, and the visual effect person in me was like, really? Is that really going to happen? That's a little bit out there, because as we know, or maybe not as we know, but doing digital face replacement can be quite tricky if not done right. You're like, oh, that looks a bit off. So that's why for me, I was kind of like hesitant. And then when I saw it in the cinema, I was like, holy crap, okay, I guess it really is happening. But they were clever with the blast shields, and then it was terrible though that I knew like, oh, I know which part of what films they kind of spliced that together, but that's unfortunately my like trained eye kind of thing. It took me slightly out, but I really enjoyed it, and actually more and more was kind of like, okay, actually I'm like what you said, Lauren, I was like, oh, I didn't know I wanted this, but actually this is really cool, like really cool kind of thing. So yeah. And
I didn't realize that was Carrie's daughter that they used as her. When I found that out, I was like, oh God, that's even just like heartstrings more of like that scene is just like, that means more in that sense. So that, it was. And then even to see like Leia's lightsaber, that was just like, oh my God, I wanted that lightsaber right away. Like I was just like, where can I buy one? I want it.
Well, it looks like the hilt is almost like mother of pearl or like rose gold.
It has a nice rose gold. Yeah.
Kind of out of the gate, and there's no wrong answer here. What was your, like, the first time you saw The Rise of Skywalker? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you were like, eh? What did you guys truly feel? No judgments.
We all saw it. Yeah, we saw it together, Lauren and I and our families, and we all walked out of the theater, and me and Lauren had this deer in headlights look on our face, kind of like, and everyone's like, we loved it, wasn't it great? And we were all like, we both said the same thing. We go, I think I need to see it a couple more times. Like, I don't know. And, we parted ways, and we started texting each other like, oh, I don't know how I felt about it. And all these feelings and emotions started coming up. So at first, no. I was not in love, but I was disappointed. I'll say that. But now I'm all right. Yeah.
Were you a big fan of The Last Jedi?
Yes, I was.
See, this is where I'm wondering if there's a slight trend here, because I'm very much in the same camp with you ladies. Loved The Last Jedi. I know, and fair enough, people who didn't, not disrespecting, but it was kind of like, wow, we took some bold shifts, but I also appreciated kind of the literary prose and things into it, and the way it was shot. I'm sorry, that's still the best.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Oh, God, shot, composited film. Like Rian Johnson, say what you will about what his character development, whatever, his just eye for, like, when he's even talking about Knives Out and like behind the scenes stuff, like you can tell he just thinks of everything, and I still think it's the most beautifully shot one. So I was the same way. I literally was like, I wanted to come out pumped like I did for the first two, and I just kind of was like, okay. I think my biggest thing for me was I didn't like at first Rey being a nobody, but then I came to peace with it and was like, actually, that's a strong choice. And then when they kind of not backtracked, but they kind of did a from a certain point of view thing to it, I just was like, you know what? I would have been fine with it if you just would have set that up from the beginning, like how we were all feeling when The Force Awakens came out, that we all had our fan theories. I was, Camp Kenobi and all this kind of stuff. So I think that was it's why it was so hard for me, because I had finally come to peace with one thing, and all of a sudden they do like an about face, and we're like, and I have to deal with this again. Okay, and But I actually, and I can't wait to have a chat with you ladies when you're done with the book, because the novelization actually helped me with some of the moments I felt kind of fell flat in the film.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So
okay.
I won't say which ones, but yeah, I definitely, they were like, but I luckily didn't go, oh, why didn't we have that in the film? Because I do understand written word and film are two different mediums, and you can get away with things like you were saying, Andrea, with the training. You got more of it in the book because obviously you're not fighting it logistics of, oh, we have to now figure out the visual effects of how we're going to make these people look on screen so you can have these dialogues and things. But yeah, so that's why I was just kind of curious. I was like, I wondered where you ladies kind of fell on it, because it is a lot to process. It moves very fast.
It
Yeah,
does.
that was my thing too. I think when I first saw it, it was just so, it was fast paced in the beginning, and it's like they had to get to like the halfway point, and then it kind of like slowed down a little bit. But it was just like, man, it did. I remember, like Andrea was saying, we texted, and I was just like, I couldn't wrap my like thoughts properly, because I was like, there was moments that I loved, like there were just awesome moments, and then there was moments I was just like, man, they went there instead of there, which I guess is okay, but especially like kind of what you were saying, Shannon, about Ray. Like I was on the beginning of, I would have loved her to have been nobody. I loved that stance from the first two films. And then when they kind of did the whole Palpatine thing, I was like, oh, I remember when in the theater, when he tells her that, I just kind of like sunk in my chair. I was like, okay, they went that route. I'm like, I gotta just take it. Like, I can't, this is how it's going to be. And that's okay. And the more I watched it in the documentary and kind of what the novel is, like where I'm at in the novel, I am kind of getting to the point where I'm just like, all right, it was a choice, and that's fine, and it all worked out in the end and whatnot. But yeah, that stung me. I think that was the one thing that stung me more, was making her a Palpatine, putting her heritage to a powerful Force user. I was just like, God, I wish they didn't go that route, but they did, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because actually, I will say, kind of contradicting myself, I was actually okay though with her being a Palpatine, because I, for the first time, felt Rey was almost overpowered. Like when she grabbed the ship in Pisana, I actually was like in the chair. At first, I should be like, "Oh, this is amazing," but I was just like, "Wait, what?"
That was
I was like, "Wait, I feel like I'm watching the Force Unleashed video game. Like this is a bit ridiculous." But then when obviously the lightning bit happened, I was like, okay, but it was just, so I'm glad there was something, because then I could just hear people in uproars, including myself, going, okay, now you've made her too overpowered, and you're not explaining why. And I can understand there's been a good argument of, oh, but did she need to be a powerful name to have power? I get that too, but it just kind of settled it a little bit with me, because I was just like, because I think 2 years after The Last Jedi.
Something
so
like
I
that,
know
yeah.
Homegirl has learned some things, but it's kind of like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, Shannon, if you contradict yourself. I do it all the time.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I absolutely hated that. But, I really love this part. Like, I get caught up in that all the time. I think that's what Star Wars does to us. It pulls us from both ends, dark side and light side.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think it's I'm so open to other people's point of views. And so when they tell me theirs in like a very constructive, great conversation way, I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Right.
But yeah, so I remember like with the whole Palpatine reveal, I did a triple bill. So I watched The Force Awakens, and maybe that was also why I kind of walked away disappointed, because obviously all three films are very tonally different.
Yeah.
So seeing them back to back to back, I remember when the Palpatine reveal happened, actually someone in the audience went, what? And this is a British audience. Like, they don't cheer, they don't, nothing. Like, they're very just, they kind of watch and enjoy. They're not, so it just cracked me up. I mean, there's a couple times in that movie that you could tell it was diehard fans, because we had been bonding for 6 hours, because we were in the same cinema, so we just left for breaks and then came back, and so I made friends with people next to me and things. So
awesome.
Yeah, it was all right. But I also think I knew I was going to have difficulties with the film, because hot take, I don't like the title.
Oh.
don't like the title. It's funny. I have a trailer reaction when I was at Celebration with my mom next to me. Actually, the video didn't come out, but the audio did. And you could hear me going, what's it called? What's it called? And then there's nothing from me when I see the title. So I was just like, really? That's what we're calling it? But, and again, it is what it is. And it makes sense now seeing it in its context. But I was just like, using a specific surname, and I was just like, okay, we're going
I remember because I was, and I know Andrea loves when I do this, I was at Celebration in Chicago when they did the trailer drop and all that stuff and the title drop. And I don't know if it was just because I was there, like when they showed like the title, everybody just freaked out and was like going crazy, and it was really cool. But yeah, it after I remember thinking about it though later on that day when after kind of the euphoria kind of washed away, I was like, wow, The Rise of Skywalker. I'm like, that's a choice. It's an interesting title. I got to see where this goes. But yeah, it was a very interesting title that they used for it. But yeah, like you said, it makes sense now in the context of the film.
But you're right, because I was at Celebration. I remember I was actually at the Galaxy stage, so it was like live streamed or whatever. But it's funny because they had to switch the feeds over from the actual stage, the actual stage where it was happening, to the video. And we almost missed Ian McDiarmid coming out on stage, because you'll see in my trailer reaction, we're sitting in blackness for like 45 seconds, which seems like a lifetime.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, are they playing it? And people are, of course, making fun little things. But it was so, I'm getting goosebumps just remembering. That was my highlight. I sometimes get tears in my eyes when I watch people's reactions, because that was where it just was like, you know what, pardon me, it doesn't fucking matter what you thought of the previous film. Everybody just was in it together, and I shared it with my mom. Bless him, my dad was in the food court just resting, and he just heard this roar, and he was like, obviously something has happened. But that's when the trailer drop. But yeah, we almost missed Ian McDiarmid coming out on stage because they were trying to switch the feedback over, and they were like, he's on stage. So that would have been a bit bumming, missing that. But we were in one of the overflow rooms too. I think it was like the Sunset one or something like that. But yeah, that's where we were too. It was cool because it was just like you're saying, you're in a room of just fellow Star Wars fans. It was just wild to be in that kind of atmosphere and for that moment to come. And yeah, I get goosebumps thinking about when you first see Rey jumping over the TIE fighter. Oh my God, I lost my shit. Me too. I just literally was just like, yeah, that's why it's funny. You don't even have to see my face. You could just literally hear just the pure joy and excitement. And when Lando appears on screen, and yeah, it was just amazing. Yeah. Absolutely. It's my only regret of doing this podcast so late. Is I didn't know anybody when I went. I just knew of the Resistance broadcast, but I hadn't met you ladies. I only regret that because then it would have been so amazing to meet everybody at Celebration and just that much more. But it was really nice to enjoy it with my parents, who are fans themselves. And so that was really cool to share that. But it's my only slight regret. It's like, I kind of wish I would have done this a year sooner, so then I could have met all these wonderful people in person. Thing.
Right, yeah. But, same here.
But kind of transitioning on, so sadly, the Skywalker saga is over. It's now on its physical release. We haven't gotten it yet in the UK, but oops. But now we've got the High Republic. So tell me, what is your thoughts? And again, no wrong answers, but are you excited? Just what's your thoughts on this whole High Republic? I think they released some information about some of the new characters the other day and things like that. So
I'm excited. I'm excited just because as much as we all love the Skywalker, the saga and everything, I'm excited to do something new and brand new characters that nobody has any connection to, any type of I don't want to say ownership, but kind of their whole, they've been with this, Skywalker family for 40 plus years. So going to something new characters, and maybe having one or two characters that maybe we know of that are still around in that area pop up for cameos, but brand new characters, brand new adventures. I'm excited for this whole High Republic. I can't wait to read those books. and I'm excited because this is just phase 1. So, I mean, who knows what this is going to turn into probably. I'm assuming maybe some TV series, animated series, maybe a movie, but, that's maybe probably way down the road. But yeah, I'm super pumped up for this High Republic. I'm excited because, I mean, really the only couple characters that we know that could pop up are Yoda, Maz Kanata, and then Baby Chewie.
Baby Chewie.
Baby Chewie.
Yes.
A baby Chewie.
Oh, yeah. I thought about Maz and Yoda. Like, Yoda was the very first one. Maz, someone said on Twitter, and I was like, oh, yeah, but didn't think about Baby Chewie, so...
How wild would that be if he was related to that Wookiee Jedi? Oh, my God. I just thought about that right now. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for the timeline that it's just 200 years prior. I know all of us are kind of craving that old Republic and to see where it all began, but just going back a little bit, before everything happened, you're not going to tell the whole story. You're still going to have an opportunity to go farther back and then, reveal more as it goes along. So I like that it's just 200 years and there's still huge amounts of space for them to create, and then a lot of space to create later in the future as well too. I'm excited to see if the technology is different at all, the way that they communicate, their weapons, things like that. I'm excited to see new characters that aren't Jedi and aren't Sith. I think that's really cool. So I love all the authors that they have chosen for each of the different types of, comic books, novels, YA books. I think it's absolutely outstanding. I'm going to read every single one of them. I don't care if it's YA. I don't care if it's a children's book. I'm going to read them all. And I really look forward to all of it. I mean, it's Star Wars. Can't really go wrong with us when it comes to Star Wars, We take it all in.
Yeah.
Do you ladies think that by having at least a name or a kind of a character that does tie us to what we know? Because I've always asked myself, because we knew the Skywalker saga was going to end. But I was like, what makes anything new feel Star Wars? Like, does there have to be that slight, you just dip your toe in the water of something old so people know, yes, okay, this is Star Wars? Or do you feel it is necessary? Because I slightly feel you need a little something. Like, that's why Rogue One, I think, worked so well, was because it was like, oh, we're between what we know. Even Solo has those moments where you're like, oh yeah, this is referencing that. And The Mandalorian. So with this, it's like, but obviously I don't want it to be too obvious. Like, does that make sense? I don't know if my question makes sense, but do you feel like it's necessary, or would you be fine having no connections whatsoever, just has the name Star Wars on it?
Yeah, I'm okay with small connections. Like I said, I mean, if you have Yoda, if you have Maz, you can kind of do things within those spaces with those two characters. So you don't have to, you don't have to lean on them to push the stories. This is where you can really push new characters, kind of like you were saying in Rogue One. You have the little cameos, different things that we're familiar with, but you're still narratively following these new characters around, which is amazing. And again, very Rebels is one of my favorite Star Wars, anything out there. And I think what that show did similarly is you saw different characters that we're familiar with, Leia, Han, or Lando, I meant, and different things that we are familiar with within the Skywalker saga. But you follow these new characters, and it was such a great adventure. That's what I'm kind of hoping that this new era will do is, again, maybe pick and choose these new characters with these older characters, like with Yoda and things like that. And maybe even pulling, I know, I haven't read any EU books, but I know there's probably a lot of EU things that they could pull and insert into these new characters and things like that. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
For me, just the smallest sound or the smallest description of, like a lightsaber lighting up or a TIE fighter flying by, just that feeling of environment that we're used to is really all I need to feel like I'm in a Star Wars universe and a Star Wars galaxy. I don't necessarily need names or places or ships. To me, it's all about a feeling. So a feeling of the Force, a sound of a battle, the conversation of a Jedi, that just makes me feel nostalgic about Star Wars.
Fair enough. Awesome. So, what did you guys think of like The Mandalorian and things like that? Because that was a bit of a risk, and it seems like it went down really well.
Way well.
Yeah. I because that was one of the panels I was lucky to get into. Nice. Yes. She's showing her Mandalorian hoodie. That's it's funny, and of course, like Baby Yoda. We just got Disney Plus here finally in the UK about 2 weeks ago. I have already seen everything The Mandalorian. I tried muting everything. I'm really glad like some people helped me with like the VPN and things like that, because that whole Baby Yoda thing just blowing up, like that would have just been like, wait, what is, if I hadn't seen it in its reveal and had it spoiled for me, I think, it would have just lost its momentum and everything. But what I loved was like in the panel, you had no idea that was part of it. Like, it's more this kind of I'm sorry I'm forgetting the story, but it's like the samurai and the wolf pup, or it's again very much driven to like literary. It's almost like, I think, True Grit as well. It's an old gunfighter with a young kid kind of thing. And I'm loving the almost like paternal moments. Like, I think it's episode 3 where like you've seen everything. Yes, I'm not. Okay.
Yeah.
Where he goes back to save Baby Yoda, and I just love that moment where he's so expressive, but you don't see his face. It's all in like body movements and things. But I love it, where you could just tell it is going to go down, and just Plus, I love Jon Favreau. I'm a bit biased because I've worked on some projects with him, so I'm just
nice.
I was on The Lion King while he was filming The Mandalorian, and I would hear him in phone calls every day, and I'd be like, just say something.
Give me some.
And he didn't. He was so good. He must have known. Obviously, he didn't know who was in the room. The only day, and he's never a grumpy man. He is so lovely. The only time he was only slightly grumpy was the day the set got broken into. And that was early days, but nothing leaked. Nothing leaked, which is surprising. But I think it was such a... now that we know about the volume and seeing how all the behind-the-scenes stuff is, you could see that they probably figured out who that was, because it was such a small crew. You're not talking hundreds of thousands of people like when they were at Ajan Kloss. I think I'm saying that planet right.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
It's a great level in Battlefront 2. I don't know if you ladies played Battlefront 2.
Oh, I haven't. I gotta get into it. I have it. I just haven't. I know there's been some updates. I gotta jump on it, but they
have added so much more, and now that whole microtransaction thing is gone. The game is what it should have been 2 years ago. But I'm so happy, and you get the Tantive is in there.
Okay.
You
now
fight
I
under
play.
like you got to, and then we'll set up some matches and things like that. But I totally forgot where I was going with this. But
I remember with the Mandalorian. I just remember. Yeah, so I remember with the Mandalorian, it was just you didn't know what to expect. It was new and this new character, and you watched that first episode. And then when they revealed that little Baby Yoda, I'm calling him Baby Yiddle. I'm going with Yiddle. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm going with Yiddle. But they're like, you were just like instantly like, oh my God, that just happened. Like, you did not, like, I didn't expect that at all, to have that little, like, that baby in this show and be like the most incredible thing that happened out of this show was a little Baby Yoda. It was insane. And how it's crazy. Andrea and I talked about this before, how like it just became this worldwide thing. Like, people that weren't even just like, maybe even just very casual Star Wars fans, they knew about Baby Yoda. They were talking about Baby Yoda. So it was like an incredible thing that pulled off for sure. And I remember, because I was at the Mandalorian panel too. Sorry, Andrea.
I wasn't there.
I was lucky enough to get in there too. And it's crazy to think about this, like how they knew that was a thing, and they didn't even obviously mention it or anything like that. But like, to know that they all knew they had this like ace in the hole, and they were just like, oh, you guys don't even know like what's going to happen. And it was just like, nope. Because I really thought it was going to be a totally different show, like just following like this gunslinger guy around. And I was all about that. And then you added that like Baby Yoda factor, and it was just like, all right, yep, you sold me on that for sure.
Yeah, remember when we it was when did the trailer come out? In August, I think. for that. We were at a family reunion, and we brought part of our family down to watch the trailer with us, and they were all so geeked, and they're like, wow, this is just a show? It's not a movie? And we're like, yeah, it's just a show. And my brother-in-law was like, oh, well, like, tell me about it. When is this timeline? When is this? And it was just great how curious everybody got just from watching that trailer. And then once the episodes started releasing, it bonded our families together in a huge way.
Amazing.
I mean, we would text each other, talk to each other. Did you watch? Oh my gosh, I can't wait to watch this one. And it was, I love when Star Wars does that, when it brings people together. And I thought all of it was outstanding. And I couldn't get over seeing a baby Yoda. I never imagined it would be something that adorable. I never imagined that it would be something I wanted to like hold. I remember watching one of the episodes with my mom when the guy punches him, and the look on my mom's face of like pain and anger, like shown on her face. And I thought, oh my gosh, what a reaction to come from my mom about a fictional character, but yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for season 2. Yeah. Can't wait.
Speaking of season 2, what do we think about this Ahsoka rumor? I don't even know, is it even a rumor? Is it actually happening?
Ooh, yeah, that is a interesting thing. I don't think Andrea and I have really talked about it too much yet, but like we've had some conversations, but I'm such a huge Ahsoka fan that I'm all for it. It's just going to be hard for me to not have it Ashley Eckstein voice to go with that character. It's just going to be a weird thing, and it's probably just a me thing for sure. But it's going to be kind of similar to like Han Solo when we see young Han Solo, and it's not Harrison Ford. Like it happens, and you get over it, and it's fine. It all works out. So. But it seems like it's pretty legit from like what I've been reading. Like it seems pretty spot on. So it's going to be interesting to see how they pull that off. And that could lead to so many other things though too. I mean, if she's in it, then where's Sabine? You know, you got Bo-Katan probably going to maybe like, the endless possibilities of like
Ezra Bridger.
Oh God.
Yeah, no. It's funny, again, I haven't watched Rebels. Now that I got my Disney Plus, I can catch up on all this. I know there's a lot of where's Ezra? That's the thing. Like, I have a lot of the moments I already know have happened, so it's not going to be this big surprise. But I feel like I want to know the full story. So I have an appreciation for Ahsoka because I know and actually in this project that you guys helped me with, there's several moments people talk about Ahsoka. So she is a very obviously pivotal character. And what I like is it was a character that no one really liked in the beginning when she came out. And then now is absolutely loved and adored. And I do think that has a lot to do with Ashley as well. From an outsider view, again, haven't really watched a lot of, I just saw one of the moments where she says goodbye to the Jedi Order and everything. And that's a very powerful moment. And there's some parallels there too where he's reaching, and that's very Kylo Ren as well, reaching with the, it's like, oh, I see what you did there. Right. But I'm just a bit sad, and I'm sorry, I want to make sure I get your view as well, Andrea. I'm kind of bummed that reveal got spoiled if it's happening, because then that would, I mean, it's imagine like if that had happened with Baby Yoda kind of thing, because I feel like this whole Baby Yoda thing has got to be what it felt like when Star Wars first came out in 1977. Just the pure frenzy, everybody talking about it, the massive pop culture thing. It's like we had it again, but now I'm worried that we just had another just massive, amazing reveal. Oh my God, Ahsoka is finally in live action after what, 10 years-ish? That it's now kind of ruined. Like, what's your thoughts, Andrea?
I'm excited. Well, I do like the casting, if it is Rosario Dawson. I think that she, like a more mature Ahsoka, she's perfect for. Like Lauren said, it's going to be a little bit getting used to with the voice. But I think overall, they picked the best possible candidate to play an older Ahsoka. Do I think it didn't get revealed like how it did, and we just saw it like sprung on us in the middle of an episode? I don't know. I I don't know how I feel about that. To me, maybe because I'm close to a lot of people who are very casual Star Wars fans, and they don't even know who Ahsoka is. So to kind of create a little bit of buzz about it, I think is a good thing for the more casual, because we've learned now that casual Star Wars fans are watching The Mandalorian, hands down. People that aren't diehard fans are watching The Mandalorian. So I think creating some sort of a buzz, I think, is a good thing for Ahsoka and for Star Wars.
Fair enough. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. If that is revealed, like you were saying, Shannon, if that's being revealed to us now, my mind goes to, okay, like if that's what they're revealing, what do they have in store for the rest of the season? Like, ooh, man, like my head turns in those kind of wheels. Like, all right, if they're saying Ahsoka's going to be in season 2 and they're like okay with kind of letting that be out there, then what is going to happen, and like what else are they going to show us? Like, that's kind of where my mind goes. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
So I have a question for Shannon. If you didn't watch Rebels and aren't really up on too much Clone Wars, when you saw the Darksaber, what was your reaction? Because we blew up. We went crazy.
It's funny. I was literally just about to talk about this. Actually, I knew enough because I watched that wonderful Star Wars Explained with Alex Damon.
Oh, good people.
I'm caught up with a lot of the lore and things. So I know what the Darksaber looks like, and I am trying to be a Mando Merc as well. So I know the Darksaber. Oh, it's going to take a while. It may not happen, but yeah, I'm gonna try. That's cool. So I know a little bit of it now. I don't know the ins and outs of like, well, wait, how the heck does he have it? But I knew the minute it cut through the light, the TIE fighter, I mean, of course, now my better half, she is a big Star Wars fan, but not into like she's getting into it now, but like kind of not out of the universe, but basically the more expanded stuff. And I was just losing my mind, and she was like, yeah, I heard about this. This is obviously a big deal. And so, I mean, we kind of both knew it was a big deal, but not to the extent of someone who has watched both animated series. So this is actually now my question to you. What does it mean? Like, if he has it, doesn't that mean he's taking it from Bo-Katan, who is like in charge of the Mandalorians last we knew? Yes?
That's kind of the ongoing theory right now, that somehow he got it from her. That would be that's kind of where I'm going with it. Unless she lost it well before that, but that doesn't seem that would happen. So that's kind of where my whole like Bo-Katan in season 2 shows up. Is kind of where like my theory is coming from, because you have to link it somehow to how he got it for sure. And we know Dave Filoni, he loves, he's as good as anybody linking things together. So I could definitely see where, Bo-Katan shows up, and maybe it's a flashback of how he got it from her, or it's her going after him getting it. Like, who knows? Again, possibilities are endless right now, which is really exciting. But yeah, that's kind of, I think that's where we last see it, obviously, is her having it. So,
having it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how they tie that in. But I trust Dave Filoni. If anybody can pull off a great, like, a great handoff,
I trust those
or a
two
great...
so much. I need to watch more of Dave Filoni's work, obviously. But I trust Jon Favreau and I trust Dave. And I've really enjoyed the directors, like... Deborah Chow or Chan?
Chow.
I loved her episodes. I'm so excited. I know everything's been pushed back about 6 months now, sadly, because of the coronavirus. But I really hope she's still on board for Obi-Wan, because I think that's going to be a really exciting. And I think what's going to be different is The Mandalorian is very action-based. I personally think, it's just a guess, I don't know, that the Obi-Wan series is going to be a lot more reflective. And because the other thing is, I do know you see Obi-Wan's arc in Rebels, like you see the Twin Sons episode with Maul, so you're not going to see him and Maul fight off because you've already seen it in another thing. So I definitely think it'd be really interesting if it's definitely more of an adult one. I don't know how Disney will go with this, but like him dealing with like post-traumatic stress, and I mean he's lost everything, but he never lets to the dark side. He's one of the few. I mean, he lost, I know, Sabine Wren. No, not Sabine, sorry. No. who's the person that Satine? That's it.
Yeah.
You know, Satine was killed by Darth Maul. I mean, his you know, his masters are killed. He lost his apprentice. I mean, he's lost a lot. The man has been through a lot. So I do think that's going to be a bit more of an intellectual one, but it is purely my speculation right now. But I'm really excited to see what she brings to the table for Obi-Wan.
Yeah, Andrea is the one that kind of got me. Like I knew her name, but then I know Andrea. You watch Mr. Robot.
She did an amazing episode of Mr. Robot.
Oh, I need to check that out. I definitely have the time now.
But yeah, I loved her episodes. They were awesome. I think that's one of the things that Andrea and I talked about. I think the 2 episodes she did were, I think, a couple of our favorites for sure. Like, they were just amazing. So, and again, good to see female diversity, everything within Star Wars. That was really awesome. And people loved that. You know, those episodes are pretty overall loved by everybody. So yeah, that was really cool to see for sure.
I really enjoyed Bryce Dallas Howard's episode too. Like, I love Cara Dune, and I'm so happy for Gina Carano, because I know she's kind of needed that break, and she was very timid. And Jon Favreau was like, "I got you. No, you don't need to just take the beat 'em up roles. Like you." And like, I do remember that was the only, not negative, but some people saying at Celebration, going, we'll see how good she is, kind of thing. And I think she smashed it. Like,
me too.
I love it because I also like, she's beautiful but tough, and she's not over. I mean, I do love, like, there's no over sexualization or anything, and I don't usually like harp on about that kind of stuff. But it's just every time, like, because I just did like a kind of fan music video trailer thing to celebrate. Yay, we got the Mandalorian finally! And just I love every shot she's in. I'm just like, God, you're beautiful.
Yeah. She was like, definitely, she's like just kicked ass. Like, she really did. Yeah. Like, it was just so cool to see, again, another female character that was strong for people to look up to and for the younger generation to kind of enjoy, like we did when, Leia was our kind of only female character. And it's cool to see how much that has changed from, the original trilogy to where we kind of really just had Leia to now there's a plethora of female fans or female characters that female fans can, attach to and enjoy and really love. Just like, Luke, just as we all love Luke Skywalker or Han Solo or Chewbacca or any of those other characters. Now we have a ton of female characters to do that as well. So it's great. Yeah, it's been great.
This is why I'm actually excited about the High Republic as well, because I forget her name. It's almost very similar to Ajan Kloss, but it's like an A. She's a blonde woman Jedi. Like, I've never seen that. All the heroines are brunettes. Yes. British. So I was just like, yes, a blonde Jedi. This is me finally represented. I know that sounds very terrible. Like, there's more representation that needs to happen, but it was one of those, I'm like, yay, my turn.
I love that.
So, anything else you'd like to chat about tonight, ladies?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I could talk about Star Wars for hours. So you could just give us a couple softballs and we'll just knock them right out.
Keep talking all day if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much everything going on. Like, we talked about the Rosario Dawson rumors, and that's all I can think of at the moment. That's the tricky thing, is because it's like there's not like a massive release coming out, so there's not a lot of speculating too much. But so tell the listeners or the viewers, where can they find you?
We can be followed at Twitter at the GALactic Pod. We're on Apple Pod, Google Play, Spotify. You can follow me, Lauren Romo, at Low Row Nose.
You can follow me, Andrea Gutierrez, at R2D2 Step.
Nice. I like that one. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at PCGE_podcast. If you like what you heard, please subscribe, like, share, rate me a 5-star review if you liked it. If you really liked it, please feel free to head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/beyondtheblastdoors. It would not only support my show, but would also be supporting all the amazing content creators that I mentioned earlier. Tiers start at only $5 a month. Almost said pounds, but yeah, $5 a month. And if you like game streaming, I am also shenanigan_plays on Twitch, which is spelled SHENANIGEN_plays with an S, plural. Want to call us, leave us a message, you can do that if you're in the States at 331 2Beyond. That's 331-223-9663. Awesome. Well, it's been fantastic to have you ladies. I'm the same way. I could talk for hours, but yeah, we'll definitely have to come back and have some more chats and things like that. So definitely, I know, bless us, it's been just struggling because I know, again, thank you again, because I know you're essential workers and things for coming on, but I know it's been tricky going, okay, someone's on working and things, and yes, definitely stay safe. Thanks for everything that you do, and we will...
Thanks for having us on, Shannon, really.
Thank you so
super
much.
Fun. Yeah, definitely.
And you can hear these ladies and several other female content creators on the moment Star Wars spoke to me, and we will all see you guys next time.